Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to International Conference on Special Education in Southeast Asia Region, ICESAR 2021. Welcome to the parallel session in the second day. So, as usual, as the day before, that we have the same rules. Yes. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Atika Ulia. And please call me Tika, and I will lead you to this parallel session that we have 5 presenters, okay, for this second day. So all the presenters have to rename the account. So I see have okay already. And then please mute your microphone when another presenter present their work. And then each presentation only allocated in 10 minutes. And then question and answer will be held after all the presenters present their article. And for the participant who want to ask, please write it in the chat box. Okay, without further ado, let's come to our first presenter. The authors are Bapak Al-Bafat Romfi, Ibu Ines Diana, with the title Improving Learning Outcomes of Addition Through Playing Fishing Method for Students with Intellectual Barrier Class 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh. So for the authors, the time is yours.
Okay. Sudah bisa dilihat, Bu?
Sudah, Pak, sudah.
Okay, thank you. Bentar ya, Bu ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, I will present my research entitled Improving Learning Outcomes of Audition Through Playing Fishing Method from student with intellectual barriers kelas 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh. Next, preliminary background of the problem. In the give learning mathematics from complete operation summation number. Teacher can use media abacus, stick, stone, and finger. Formula problem. How to implement upgrade result study some method plate fishing fish on student intellectual barriers class 5 in SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh. Research for process. Knowing the implementation process on an effectiveness play method deep fishing improve learning outcomes summation on class intellectual retardation student 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh. Benefits and research. Research this expected called math as a wrong one source information auditional and inspiration from teaching summation number 4 student intellectual barrier in class 5. Jadi yang melatar belakangi permasalahan di sini adalah penggunaan media dalam pembelajaran penjumlahan guru sebelumnya itu masih menggunakan media berbentuk hitungan menggunakan jari. Seperti contohnya itu, ayo coba di dalam situasi kelas ada soal penjumlahan dari guru, ayo siswa 4 ditambah 4 berapa, coba menggunakan jari. Jadi tidak ada tidak terdapatnya ketertarikan dari siswa dalam pembelajaran dan pembelajaran terasa membosankan. Oke, metodologi. Next, method research di sini adalah the research method used is a classroom action research. The cycles in the study amounted to 2 cycles. The subject of this study were the teacher and 4 students with mental retardation in class 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh. In the first cycle, the teacher has started to do learning using the media of a fishing route with the sum of the result in number 5 to 15, as well as the beginning of the introduction of new learning media from students who professionally only use the abacus and finger media. Jadi pada pelaksanaan pada siklus pertama itu guru masih melakukan guru sudah melakukan pembelajaran dengan menggunakan media memancing, tapi tidak disediakan soal. Jadi pertamanya itu ada dalam pelaksanaan itu ada 2 tahapan. Misalnya pada tahapan pertama, ayo anak disuruh memancing ikan dulu, yang sudah dibatasi jumlahnya itu di dalam ember dengan maksimal hasil penjumlahannya akan 15. Nah, jadi pada tahap pertama anak akan memancing terlebih dahulu, dan tahapan selanjutnya anak akan memancing untuk yang kedua kalinya, nanti dijumlahkan hasil dari pancingan anak tersebut. Okay, next to cyclus 2. In the second cyclus, the implementation still used the method of playing fishing, but focus on achieving learning objective and see the efficient fish of flying fishing media improving student learning outcomes with intellectual disabilities. Nah, pada siklus kedua terjadi perbaikan di mana pada penerapan guru sudah mulai melakukan, ternyata pada saat siklus pertama terjadi masalah di mana anak baru menggunakan media bermain sambil menghitung. Jadi cenderung anak terlalu sering memancing ikan dan mengakibatkan hasil penjumlahan terlalu tinggi, sehingga mengakibatkan dalam proses matematika penjumlahan proses menghitung dari atau jumlah bilangan dari yang terkecil ke yang besar terlewatkan karena anak terlalu sering memancing, maka penjumlahan itu akan selalu menjadi penilaian yang hasil penjumlahan itu menjadi nilai yang tinggi seperti angka 11, 13, bahkan 15. Nah, jadi pada siklus kedua ini terjadi perombakan di mana guru menyediakan soal terlebih dahulu untuk membatasi atau mengakomodir jumlah hasil penjumlahan dari yang dilakukan oleh siswa. Jadi contohnya seperti guru sudah mempersiapkan soal berjumlah 10 atau dan ya berjumlah 10 ya sesuai dengan yang dipelajari oleh siswa dengan hasil maksimal 5 sampai 15, maka dari pertanyaan dari urutan penjumlahannya itu dari yang terkecil sampai yang terbesar. Contohnya dari urutan 1 dengan hasil 1 sampai 5. Nah, pada nomor 7 atau 8 sudah mulai masuk dengan hasil penjumlahan 6 sampai 10 sampai selanjutnya sampai maksimal di angka 15. Okay, research result based on the initial ability test the average intellectual disability class 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh, how low learning outcomes in the first class, which still has not reached the target explained by the educator. It will be continued in the second cyclus. Cyclus 2 is the application of improvement. They are still considered lacking in cyclus 1. During the second cyclus, the students were able to solve the addition problem with the result of 5 to 15 quite good, and it wasn't that there were very significant learning outcomes in the anchors with the result of 5 to 15. Okay, table and graphic result study mathematics some on test ability early cyclus 1 and cyclus 2. Yang pertama, jumlah siswa itu ada 4, AMD, DNK, dan FRS, ISF. Nah, pada tes pertama itu masih belum mencapai KKM. Nah, batas KKM di kelas ini ditetapkan oleh guru itu 70. Nah, pada tes kegiatan kemampuan awal itu masih belum mencapai KKM, terlihat nilai siswa masih 53, 46, dan 20, 20. Nah, pada siklus pertama sudah ada peningkatan di mana anak sudah memahami dari bentuk abstrak ke konkret dalam melakukan penjumlahan. Namun, pada saat pelaksanaan yang mengakibatkan nilai siswa masih di bawah rata-rata KKM adalah karena pengelolaan situasi kelas di mana melakukan penjumlahan tadi di dalam memancing ikan tadi, anak terlalu sering memancing ikan dan dalam proses bermain tersebut, maka mengakibatkan hasil penjumlahan yang terlalu tinggi. Nah, penjumlahan yang terlalu tinggi dalam menghitung terlalu tinggi tidak dilakukan dari yang terkecil ke yang terbesar, maka mengakibatkan anak kesulitan dalam melakukan menghitung ataupun menjumlahkan. Nah, itu akan berdampak pada hasil tes pada siklus evaluasi pada siklus 1 dan nilai masih di bawah KKM. Nah, pada siklus kedua, itu tadi semua seperti yang sudah dijelaskan itu diubah kembali dan dibikin satu soal yang dimana dari progres hasil penjumlahan itu dari yang terkecil ke yang terbesar. Nah, maka dari situ siswa mulai memahami dan tidak hanya mengerjakan soal dengan hasil penjumlahan yang besar. Yang dapat kita lihat di sini ada grafik dari kemampuan awal sampai siklus kedua. Next discussion. Based on research that have done look that the method of playing fishing route that the teacher does is effective in improving result study mathematics summation with result 5 to 15 with use method playing fishing route fish that hold on intellectually impaired student class 5 SLB Negeri 1 Payakumbuh learning down to cycles from called upgrade result study mathematics from 8 student. Jadi oke. Okay. Well, that's my percentage of if there are shortcoming, please forgive and thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for Bapak Aromfi. Okay, next we come to the second presenter, Ibu Tiani Ayuntias Zuhri with the title Word Formation Process, Morphology through the Material Reflective Method by Teacher towards Deaf Student in Grade 5. Please, Ibu Tiani, the time is yours.
Okay, test. Am I audible?
Yes, can hear.
Okay. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Tiani. I'm from Jakarta. I'm a teacher in a public school. I'm a teacher for special needs children in a public school in Jakarta. So today I would like to present my research. Actually, this research was conducted when I was in college, which 2 years ago, this research was conducted from January to May 2019. This research is about word formation process or morphology through the maternal reflective method, or we call it in Bahasa is MMR, by teacher towards deaf students in grade 5. This is a descriptive study at SDLB Santirama. And actually I was helped by two supervisors that are Mrs. Riana Bagaskurawati and Mrs. Liliana Lianti. I forgot to write down their names here. And then for those who haven't known about the SDLB Santirama, it is a special school for deaf students in South Jakarta. Okay. Language is a tool for communication, as we all know that. that language systematic and systemic system. Systematic means that language is not several elements that are collected irregularly, but elements that have been arranged. Meanwhile, systemic means that language is not a single system, but consists of several subsystems such as the subsystem of phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. And then if you're talking about the of our students, especially our deaf students, because they have the language ability of deaf students cannot develop according to their chronological age because they do not experience a language acquisition period like hearing students do. So if students without hearing impairments in a like maybe 5 years old have so many words, already understood so many words, doesn't mean that students with hearing impairments have the same condition with them, because the deaf students have a lack of understanding of how to use affixes in a sentence also, yeah. It is quoted by Bredmer, Alton, and Crott. I quoted this opinion on their journal in 2012. And then, therefore, word formation process or morphological understanding needs to be learned more deeply because it can affect the literacy and language skills of students at the elementary, middle, and high levels. It is quoted by Wilson, Fowler, and Apple in 2015. When I was doing this research, I found that deaf students in the class 5 SDLB Santirama were able to discover aspects of morphological linguistics through the process of self-discovery or discovery learning, which is it is the main feature of linguistic conversation. It is one of the MRM stage. So they already understood about the affixed words. Affixed word is we call it in bahasa is kata berimbuhan. Like they already understood about how to differentiate the word, the main word and the base word and the word with affixes. Like they already understood that the sentence have to use menyapu instead of sapu, for example, yeah. So they already understood despite of their condition as a deaf student. Okay, and then for the maternal reflective method itself is a method for teaching language. And then it is a method developed by A. van Uden in 1988. This method is a language teaching method that focuses on the conversation, like a mother teaching her baby to who has not yet spoken with conversation activities, so that finally the child can speak. So I know maybe some of you, especially the women here, already have baby, and then when you have a baby, you can you would to ask your baby to do conversation, even though you know that your baby hasn't spoken yet, but you do continuously to ask to involve your baby to engage in conversation, right? So this method is adopted by the method how a mother teach language to her baby. So in this method, there are two general steps. The first one is conversation, and the second one is grammar teaching. The conversation has two general steps. First one is perdati atau percakapan dari hati ke hati, or it can be called as conversation from heart to heart. and perception or conversation to transmit some information. And then for the grammar teaching it's a reflection, a small reflection. They call it as a small reflection. And then the second one is percali or linguistic conversation. The main feature in reflection and percali or linguistic conversation is discovery learning. So teacher uh, the teacher doesn't mention the answer or doesn't mention the answer of the linguistic issues in the text, but the teacher guides the students how to discover the linguistic issue in the text or in the conversation. Next, sorry. Okay, and then the methods. This research uses a qualitative approach with the descriptive method. The data analysis of this research uses Miles and Haberman model that has 3 steps, namely data reduction, data presentation, and data verification or data conclusions. The data collection techniques in this research are interviews, observation, and document reviews. Sorry, I think I didn't mention the word formation. The word formation or morphology is a wide wide science. I mean, not only about affixed words but also about the duplicate words. But in this research, I focus on affixed words, which are prefixes, suffixes, and morphophonic. For the prefix, I focus on how to form prefix ber, me, pe, di, ke, terse, suffix an, kan, nya, i, and the morphophonemic is I focus on the process how they can understand the when the prefix ber meets the word with the word ajar, the word will change, become belajar, not berajar, and then the prefix pe meets with the word ajar, the word will change, become pelajar. So there will be another phoneme L in between the pe and ajar. And then me, prefix me meets the word with initial letter K, and so on. And then the findings and discussion, because it's a long research. I mean, so I have to make it short. The findings and the discussion. I found seven terms in this research. The first one is prefixation, suffixation, morphophonemic, difficulties in morphology process through MRM, time and place of morphology process, and people who are involved in morphology process. For prefixation, suffixation, and morphophonic, I will explain it on the conclusion in the next slide. But for the difficulties, there are no any significant difficulties found by the students and by the teachers who are conducted word formation through MRM. There are no significant difficulties unless every child has different abilities to capabilities and different speed to understand the word because of their condition as a deaf. That's the only one difficulties that found by the teacher. And then for the time and place, actually they wouldn't understand about word formation process and if they haven't experienced the conversation, the conversation in this class, not in the class, the conversation that experienced by the deaf students. They already experienced the conversation since they were in the preparatory class, like in the preschool. They already asked by the teacher to do the conversation. They maximize the hearing abilities, and then they do conversation every day. So the time and place morphology process is a long process. It's not an instant process. And then for the people who are involved in morphological process is the students themselves, teachers, relative teachers, I mean the fellow teachers, other class teachers, and then the school residents in that school, I mean like principals or whatever. Okay, this is the conclusions of the prefixation, suffixation, and the morphophonemic. The indicators in the word formation process or morphology are: the first one is teacher asks student to determine the affix words in the text, or in the text. Is there any affix words? Because the students already understood that oh no, this is a main word like berlari. No, it's supposed to not berlari. The base word in this word is lari. So they already understood that. So the student, the teacher asked student to determine is there any affixed words. If yes, the teacher will ask the student to determine a certain prefix according to the topic of discussion at the time. So for your information, the topic of discussion is different every day. They will discuss any kind of topic every day. And then the second one is collecting other affix words that have a similar pattern. And then the fourth is describing the elements contained in this affix word. As I told you before, that the student will be asked by the teacher how is there any prefix, base words, and suffix in that word, in that text, both orally and in writing. And then identifying changes that occur in affix words. Identifying changes, it's a morphophonemic process, like ber meets with ajar will be, there will be another phoneme in between the ber and ajar, that is al, belajar. And then the last is concluding. So, meanwhile, the MRM principle used are emphasizing conversation that have been mastered by students, and then the discovery learning. So the conversation has to, already understood by the students, like repeated, done by the teacher every day. And then the most influential media in the word formation process are category sheets, the use of colored markers, and the word clues. That's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Tiani. So let's come to our third presenters, Ibu Ani Sinega, Bapak Ahmad Ufat, Ibu Endang Rohyadi, with the title of the paper, Early Intervention Program by Utilizing Family Resources to Achieve Autonomy for Children with Autism. So please, Ibu Ani Sinega, the time is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. Thank you for coming to this presentation. In this presentation, we will discuss early intervention program by utilizing family resources to achieve autonomy for children with autism, and by author Ani Sinaga, Ahmad Hufat, and Endang Rohadi. Next, introduction. To date, research on parental mediated intervention has shown that the autistic children have a high social validity that is considered to have relevant and important objective, adequate procedure, and clinical significant result, while also generating satisfaction among all stakeholders. The lack of parental knowledge and the ignorance of parents about the condition of autistic children are major obstacles in providing family-centered intervention. Parent acceptance of the condition of autistic children with their obstacles create stress for parents to provide family-centered intervention. Parents who do not have information about the child development, about the difficulty in developing the potential that child who was diagnosed with autism. Therefore, parents need to have the knowledge, skill, and ability in order for them to provide optimal care to their children, especially for parents who have two autistic children in the family. In the process of family-centered intervention, service for autistic people, family indispensable because the family is alone with their children so as to reach the desired potential and independence. The preparation of this family-centered intervention program is the focus of research to review intervention give to children and family so that family have the right and optimal mentoring and nurturing competence for the development of children. Method, the approach use qualitative method with a case study approach that collection in conduct interview, observation, and document study. Okay, next. Finding and discuss the aspect of activity daily, independent hand washing, and then the obstacle subject experience, not yet able to wash your hand clean, there are still soap vapor on her hand. Next, the aspect of activity daily brushing teeth, the obstacle subject experience, difficult in putting toothpaste on the toothbrush, appropriately so style need help. Next, the aspect of activity daily bath and the obstacle subject experience, the state of doing a bath still need to be directed, especially when soaping all over the body. Next, the especially activity daily wearing clothes and the obstacle subject when pairing to top clothes and style weaving difficult, so it need help, and difficult in determining the concept of front and rear clothing, and the activity daily using the toilet, and the obstacle subject no obstacles, and activity daily drink and the obstacle subject experience barrier when drinking are still spill if directly using a glass, but if using a straw, the child can be alone. However, often when drinking like to cook, and activity daily eat, and the obstacle subject experience when eating is style fed by a parent because the food is style messy. And evaluation of the program of the family, the actually family condition, parental acceptance, and then the potential family condition. At first, parents are very difficult to spend time with the father. Finally, slowly the father and mother began to show their competence in speaking to the subject, but it's necessary to be consistent in running this until the subject can be independent in understanding the sentence of other. And the actually family parenting pattern, and the potential family condition, finally the mother began to be seen trying to find a solution so that the subject can suck or smell smiting through the nose, because the subject still has difficulty in sucking through the mouth and nose. Here, It appeared that the mother began to include herself so that the subject can be promote its development. The next, program evaluation on subject. The subject actually condition basic skill capacity and the potential condition. However, it can still not be said to be consistent because it has not been able to last for 50 minutes with an homogeneous lesson. And subject actual oral motor, the potential subject condition, the subject can blow out the candle well using this candle aim to train breathing pressure on the subject. And the evaluations, the actual subject condition, acceptive language, and the potential subject condition, the subject receptive language look even better as the subject can edit the original image to object that match the image. Then clear know where the object are in his house and start to aim the name of objective around the house. And next, the actual subject condition daily living activity and the potential subject condition. At first, the child is not yet able to know the correct order in brushing teeth, but continue to be introduced and combined with real object to so that the subject is interested and can begin to remember the sequence of brushing teeth with the parent. Next discussion, parent-mediated intervention are one of the strategies that promise to start intervention early and support family while the wait for direct intervention with a child. The role of the family is very important in the process of child development, especially parent, father, and mother in providing learning experience to children through family short intervention program in adult autistic. And then intervention can help a person experience, organize, understand, and respond better to the information they receive from the surrounding environment. Explain that the development achieved by a child is the result of learning, not the other way around. The development characterized by maturity become load for learning. And conclusion, the conclusion of the implementation of the early intervention program is a change in the family paradigm to the need of the child. The family also understand the child need a lot of vocabulary and is involved in family activity to increase his confidence. Further, future research advice need to be done research on the effectiveness of early intervention sought from family in autistic children. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for the presenter, Ibu Ani Sinaga. Okay, let's come to our last presenter. The authors are Ibu Nur Kamaria Ensimau, Bapak Muhammad Isa Amzah, Bapak Muhammad Hanafi Muhammad Yasin with the title Zero Reject Policy, a New Pathway of Inclusive Education in Malaysia. So for Ibu Nur Kamaria, the time is yours.
All right, thank you for moderator. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. I'm Nur Kamaria from Malaysia. So today I'm going to present our topic regarding zero reject policy, a new pathway of inclusive education in Malaysia. So I'm going to play the PowerPoint. I hope the sound was quite clear. All right. So just give me a few minutes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to everyone. I'm Nur Kamaria from Malaysia. So today I'm going to present our concept paper in the title Zero Reject Policy, a New Pathway of Inclusive Education in Malaysia. Actually, this research is concept paper and the objective is to identify the factor that should be considered in order to implement zero reject policy. Before we go further, let's introduce what is zero reject policy is. This policy have been announced by Ministry of Education in Malaysia in December 2018 with the tagline Pendidikan untuk Semua, Tanggungjawab Semua, Education for All, Responsibility of All. So relatively, zero reject policy is not new policy, but it related to compliance with Education Act in 1996 with compulsory primary education. So with the implementation of the zero reject policy, students with special education can register anywhere in school that they are interested in, and the school cannot reject the student application through implementation of inclusive education. All right, there is some factors should be considered. The first one is teachers' knowledge. Teachers' knowledge based on policy and implementation knowledge. All right. The Minister of Education 2019 report that problem happened in implementation gap between policy inspiration and implementation in school and classroom. We also lack in emphasis on top-down process, whereby the message are different between the respondent and policy maker. And then the third one is lack of emphasis in budgeting model. Although there are direct involvement in the school improvement partner and also school improvement specialist courses. And we also lack of persuasion model that can be through an intensive consultation process to adapt the policy. Teachers' knowledge on professional knowledge. Based on this data, we have increasing numbers of special education students and also special education classes. And we also have increasing numbers in fully inclusive in regular primary school and also inclusive program, partial inclusive program, in inclusive program for integrated school. But the issue that related to this is most of our teachers are not attending teaching courses for special education, and 32,540 primary school teachers were at the teaching certificate or diploma level.
PowerPoint is not
Teachers' knowledge on
jalan,
pedagogical
nggak jalan
knowledge.
Ibu.
The teachers' pedagogical knowledge in implementing the zero reject policy in Malaysia may not be studied yet, but in South Africa, they have found that the Department of Basic Education in South Africa.
PowerPoint-nya nggak moving Ibu.
Not moving?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Until which slide? May I know?
Just like one from the
Just like
beginning.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
okay,
moving.
okay. How about the sound?
Sound is okay, but the slide is still in the slide one, not moving.
All right. Shall I start from the beginning?
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Okay. All right. I put it again. I stop the share first. Sorry for inconvenience. What happened? All right. I try to open the another slide which is not recorded. Maybe it's more convenient to everyone. Is it okay here right now?
Okay, we can see the slide.
Okay. Okay, actually, basically, I repeat it again. Actually, we do a concept paper, and the objective is to identify the factor that should be considered in order to implement zero reject policy in Malaysia. So basically, the zero reject policy have been announced in December 2018 with the tagline "Pendidikan untuk semua, tanggungjawab semua, education for all, and responsibility of all." So relatively, zero reject policy is not new policy, but it's compliance with Education Act in 1996, whereby the compulsory primary education in Malaysia. So with this implementation of zero reject policy, all the students can register where the school they are interested in, and they cannot be rejected. Uh, and the school cannot reject the student application through inclusive education. All right, there is some factor that should be considered before we implement the policy. The first one is teachers' knowledge among policy and implementation knowledge. The first one is implementation gap, okay, between policy inspiration and implementation in school and classroom. The second one is top-down process, which is respondents have a different idea or message understood with what policymaker intended. And the third one is lack of emphasis on bargaining model. And then the last one is lack of persuasion model that can be through an intensive consultation process to adapt the policy. All right. This data is based on 2019. We have increasing numbers of new special education students and also special education teachers. And we also increasing numbers of fully inclusive program and partial. But then we have some issue regarding the courses that more of our teachers are not attending a course regarding the inclusive education or special education. And most of our teachers in a primary school were at a teaching certificate or diploma level. All right. Teachers' knowledge on pedagogical knowledge. Basically, knowledge on pedagogical knowledge in implementing zero reject policy may not have been studied in Malaysia. But in South Africa, the study done by Ahmad found that the Department of Basic Education in South Africa still find failure in terms of infrastructure, allocation, teachers, capacity, and curriculum pedagogical knowledge. The studies also conducted by Riddles in Scotland also found that the implementation of additional support for Learning Scotland Act amended 2016 is in an early stage, and it was much influenced by individuals' understanding compared to original purpose of the policy. However, this policy also increasing the numbers of students with disability in Scotland. While in Saudi Arabia, education for all as a universal design, learning still developed in a development stage. The study conducted by Al-Qurani found that from 130 teachers, only 48 of them have attended the course on the policy. And even unfortunately, only 32 of them have implemented the policy. The research also found that 74% of respondents agree that they need more pedagogical courses to implement the policy in the classroom. Whereby the studies conducted in Nepal also found that the policy faced 4 main challenges involving the community's view, stigma, and discrimination assessment of learning and infrastructure facilities. All right.
Okay, 2 minutes again.
All right. Teachers accept towards students with SEN. All right. Basically, in Malaysia, we have a lack understanding of implementation of inclusive education due to stereotyping, a perception that students with disability will help we influence the performance of the academic overall performance. All right. Regarding the teacher's skill, learning process also depending on teacher's interest, knowledge, and skill is a broad knowledge. But the finding of Nadir also found that 64% of primary school teachers are willing to conduct inclusive classes, but they do not have a strong skill to help make the teaching learning more organized and structured. All right, for teachers' readiness, teachers must be sensitive to emphasize the strategy by ensuring the equality is given equal to every student. So as the conclusion, introducing the zero reject policy will bring Malaysia into the new pathway of special education. However, the implementation of zero reject policy must come together with the readiness, knowledge, and acceptance among mainstream teachers as a main player. So various courses and training are fully welcomed to enhance teacher skill and knowledge. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, Ibu Nur Hamaria and Simau. So let's become to our next session is question and answer. So I have some question in the chat box. So the question is first from Bapak Aromfi to Bapak Aromfi. Apakah permainan fishing yang digunakan dalam riset ini menggunakan ikan sungguhan? Apakah yang menjadi kelebihan dan kekurangan dari metode fishing ini? Terima kasih. Silakan Bapak.
Langsung dijawab saja ya, Bu.
Iya, langsung aja Pak.
Dalam penggunaan media ini kita menggunakan ikan mainan, Bu, yang di depannya yang menggunakan pancingnya itu di ujung pancingnya itu ada magnet dan di ikannya itu terdapat besi atau magnet juga. Nah, jadi dalam memancing itu anak tidak perlu kesulitan dalam memancing, cukup mendekatkan kail pancing dan langsung bisa mendapatkan ikan. Nah, kekurangan pada penelitian ini ada pada waktu. Jadi setiap anak itu cukup menyita waktu dalam melakukan penjumlahannya. Nah, jadi anak terlebih dulu melihat soal terlebih dahulu. Nah, soalnya ini ada penjumlahan dengan satu bilangan dijumlahkan satu bilangan. Nah, misalnya contohnya 3 ditambah 4. Nah, untuk tahapan pertama anak memancing dulu nih 3. Nah, sudah pas sudah memancing 3 dihitung dulu nih. Oh ya sudah 3 ikan. Nah, sesi selanjutnya ya kita masuk ke tahapan bilangan selanjutnya itu ada angka 4 ya pancing 4 ikan. Nah, dapat 4 ikan. Nah, lalu pada bilangan yang pertama 3 ikan pertama tadi dijumlahkan dengan 4 ikan yang selanjutnya. Nah, jadi itu lumayan cukup menyita waktu. Nah, kelebihan dari ini adalah di mana anak dapat merasakan proses di mana bermain sambil belajar. Nah, anak akan tertarik menjawab soal dan melakukan menghitung bilangan, penjumlahan bilangan dengan menggunakan ikan ini. Jadi anak dapat memproses kayak, oh ini saya mau menangkap ikan dulu nih. Ikan ada 3, oh iya tangkap ikannya dan ikannya bisa berwarna-warni dan itu membuat daya tarik anak dalam melakukan mancingan ikan dan melakukan menjumlahkan. Karena terdapat ada beberapa anak dalam masalah sebelumnya sebelum melakukan metode ini terdapat kayak misalnya disediakan soal atau ditanyakan terhadap anak tentang penjumlahan, anak terlihat malas dan tidak tertarik terhadap penjumlahan. Nah, itu ketertarikan dengan menggunakan media ini yang membuat kelebihan dalam penelitian ini. Oke.
Baik, terima kasih pada Bapak Ronfi. Mungkin hampir sama pertanyaannya dengan Ibu Ishartiwi dan Ibu Isharyati. Bagaimana dikembalikan kepada dua penanya? Bagaimana tanggapannya?
Ya, terima kasih. Pertanyaan saya sudah cukup terjawab.
Oke, baik. Oke, mungkin kita langsung ke pertanyaan selanjutnya pada Ibu Ani. Apakah ada faktor-faktor penting yang dapat mendukung keberhasilan pelaksanaan intervensi dini berbasis keluarga? Terima kasih. Silakan Ibu.
Okay, thank you, Miss Atika. I think parental acceptance factor, maybe parental knowledge and family system, and then family environment, and the point is that intervention must be carried out by parent because parents are always with their children. And mungkin nyambung dengan pertanyaan berikutnya. Jadi ya kalau pengetahuannya orang tuanya tidak kurang dan juga ekonominya rendah, intinya ya peran keluarga tetap yang namanya anak pasti dia akan memberikan sentuhan atau kasih sayang, di mana melalui sentuhan dan kasih sayang itu dia bisa menunjukkan, dia bisa memberikan komunikasi ataupun hal-hal yang baru di sekitar lingkungannya. Sekalipun mungkin pengetahuannya kurang, tetapi intinya ada hubungan batin atau kasih sayang antara orang tua dengan anak, itu yang membuat dan juga penerimaan orang tua terhadap anak itu pertama. Selama anak itu orang tua tidak bisa menerima kekurangan anaknya, maka dia tidak bisa melihat ada perkembangan positif dari anaknya untuk melakukan intervensi dini. Barangkali itu, Bu. Thank you. Your question.
Terima kasih. Bagaimana tanggapan dari penanya Ibu Isriati dan Ibu Isratiwi?
Ya, saya kira cukup. Ya.
Baik.
Itu karena problem besar ya untuk menangani yang kondisi keluarga seperti itu.
Yes. Of course.
Oke, terima kasih atas partisipasi Bapak Ibu pada hari kedua pada pagi hari ini. Dan saya ingatkan kembali untuk kembali mengisi absen, link absen. Okay, please fill in this Google form. I have dropped it in the chat room. So, and don't forget to send me all your full paper and PowerPoint to my number. I have write it in the chat box too. And also because, okay, I redrop the link, all right. Okay, the link Google form. Okay. So it is the Google form from attendance, and please send your full paper and PowerPoint to my number 081374500454. Okay, and also like the parallel session before, because it's already 8:58 and we have to come back to the main room to follow all the presenters, the main presenters from all universities and abroad universities. So please just leave the breakout room. So just press the leave breakout room and let's come together with other presenters in the main room. Okay, so thank you so much for all of your presenters in this day. So let's see you in the next event. Maybe we can see each other again. So I'm sorry for all my mistake and inconvenience. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, please come back to the main room, maybe, Bapak Ibu.